Hello and welcome to a special episode of Plate Stack Chat. You know, I can't resist a little Grid League chat, and it's always exciting this time seeing what teams are doing, which players are re-signing, teams that are having players take some time off, new people signing up for their rookie season. We even see players switching teams. And the Palm Beach Breakers, well, they have been very generous in letting me break the news on one of their signings for this coming season, and then we can have an interview with them straight away. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So I am very happy to welcome to the show someone who is no stranger to Grid League. In fact, they've played a number of seasons. They've played for the Sharks, they've played for the Breakers, they've played for the Venoms, and then maybe the Breakers again. So if that is not a big enough clue for you, they are an absolute powerhouse. Give them a barbell, they're going to destroy it. In fact, some might even call them a tank. And if that hasn't given it away already, please welcome the fantastic Ro Scott to the show. Ro, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on. I mean, you may be the most difficult person to communicate with in all the time I've done this show.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I apologize, but I also do not pretend like it's not going to happen again.
Hey, that's absolutely fine. Now I know I just need to send messages like 6 months in advance if I want you, and then maybe you'll see it by then.
It's that, and then it's also just I get very possessive over my time, and I have a hard time committing to things because I always have a million things that I want to do. So committing to like sitting down and doing a podcast, it's not that I don't want to do it, but I don't want to take the time to do it, if that makes any sense at all.
Hey, I'm right there with you. I'm thinking, I mean, it's 10 p.m. for me now.
I know. I apologize. I wish it would work out earlier so you didn't have to be up this late. I know with you being across the water, but
hey, don't worry. I'm well used to this now. And in fact, I did a show earlier in the week, and it was like 6 p.m. my time because it was with people in the UK. And tell you what, the chat was empty. Nobody's showing up because people are at work. People are like on their way back. We talking of the chat. Look at this. Your team are already out here in force. Dylan is here.
I really unfortunately cannot see because Instagram didn't send me to the app directly. It just like opened a window in Instagram. So all of the thumbs like a tenth of the size of the screen. So I can barely see you. I can barely see myself. I can't see anything else. So
I'll be taking the link somewhere else.
You can just lie to me and tell me that everybody's there and just make up comments. It'll be great.
Yeah. Okay, well, people in the chat now, you've got a lot of freedom. She might only see this in a rewatch. She's not going to rewatch it. We already know her time is too precious, so there's no way. Vida's here as well. So yeah, a lot. Yeah, well, you two have worked together for quite a while, right?
Yeah. So, I recruited her for the Breakers back, I want to say for the 2022 season, I think. And then I ended up switching and playing for the Venom that year. And I felt really bad about it because like I recruit her, bring her on, and then she shows up and she's like, wait, what happened? And I'm like, I'm so sorry.
So I mean, so you it's not unusual to see players switch around, move teams. You've been on quite a few teams, but as have many. Which was your favorite? No, I'm not going to ask which was your favorite. I know it's the Breakers.
Well, no, I don't really have a problem saying things out loud. The Breakers overall, the experience has been the best. Now, the thing is with the Venom, the reason why I went from Palm Beach Breakers to the Venom was because my Olympic weightlifting coach, Andrew Maddox, bought into the Venom that year. And so it put me in a really tough position because I had a lot of loyalty already to Matt and the Breakers. But then this is my coach who, I mean, I was living in Daytona at the time. I'm training with him every day. And like, we were very, very close. And he's like, I bought a team. What are you going to do? And I'm like, you son of a bitch. I was actually like pretty mad at him about it because he put me in a tight spot where it was like I had already kind of like verbally told Matt that I'd play for them again, and then I had to do take backsies. So I love Maddox. I'm mad that he did that to me though.
Yeah. And there's no takebacks this season, right?
Yeah.
Like you're in this season.
No.
Otherwise, this show is, I'm gonna have to just delete it after.
No, I don't see any changes. I mean, Maddox is no longer, to my knowledge, last year he stepped back from the Venom, and I think that he's still stepped back from it. So there's not really any divided loyalty at this point in time. I mean, I have friends and people that I know and care about on other teams, but nothing that would challenge, like make the decision to play for the Breakers a challenge to choose between. So.
But I think that's like that's the grid way. Like it's too close knit. Everybody has friends on every team, so it's very hard to kind of being friends with someone on another team is never necessarily going to mean they're going to go and play for that team or they're going to
no.
There's divided because everybody seems to get on very well.
Well,
at least what not everyone, but many. I'm not going to say all the teams get on with each other. I'm going to say there's probably a person on each team that gets on with somebody else on another team.
No, that's fair to say. That's absolutely fair to say. And there's a lot of people that, like you said, there's a lot of crossover of having friends in different teams because either maybe you played together on a previous team, then a lot of times if people relocate, it will just make more sense to them to play for a team that's closer to their physical location. And that's all good and understandable. But yeah, it's a very mixed blood family. So but I definitely would not go as far as to say that everybody gets along in grid because that is so far from the case.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as you said, you're not someone that doesn't mind speaking out loud. So this is good. So now tell me exactly who doesn't get on with
there I could throw some names out there. I'm going to hold back a little bit because I'm trying to, personal growth. Yeah. And there's no reason to start a season off with beef. I always try to give people room to grow. So, you show up and see if the same people are causing the same problems, and then I'll get back into beef. But I'm signed as a not a wild card. I'm a reserve player because I am across the country. I am very far away from where we're going to be practicing and playing and all. So it didn't make sense for me to try to play the whole season this year. So it's just, I'm not gonna get as wrapped up in it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, you have to let me know which matches you think you'll be at.
The plan will be for me to go to the double header, and then assuming like if we progress to playoffs and then go to the playoffs, which would be the same time as the championships, I think. So trying to get the most bang for the buck. So the first 2 matches, I believe it is, that are just like the single matches, probably will not be present for those. So that's on the rest of the team to do what I know they can do, put the work in so that it makes it worth it for me to come down there.
Right. I mean, you're speaking to someone that is planning their season in exactly the same way.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking if I'm going to travel again, because I went, it was my first experience seeing it live. It was the playoff and the championship. So,
there you go.
It was a great experience.
Yeah.
But it was kind of bittersweet. 1, that it was over so quickly.
Yeah.
And 2, that I didn't get to see as many people because, there weren't all the teams there. Because it was just the playoffs and the championship team. So this season, definitely, I want to go at an opportunity. If I can somehow find a way to get there again, I want to do it when more people are there. When I get, and if there's two days of competition, it justifies my travel a little bit more.
Absolutely. What is the flight like from the UK?
Well, I've only ever done it once.
Okay.
And that was flying into Florida.
Wow.
And my flight was a disaster. If people followed the story, which I felt was very grid. I thought, it's the grid experience is having a really bad. But yeah, the flight got.
I'm not sure what that says. Your opinion is on grid.
Oh, my opinion on grid is
disaster. It sounds like grid.
No. The flight was the number of times I've watched, multiple seasons now, and I have to watch them in the live stream. Like, that's the only way I can do it. And the number of times I've been in the live stream and I've seen comments from someone, and I'm like, why are you in the live chat? You should be there. And it's, oh, our flights got cancelled. Oh, they're not letting anybody out. We couldn't possibly get there, and it's stuff like that. So I was like, okay, this is, this is very good in my.
That's fair. That's fair. I see where you're going with it now.
And I was flying into Florida, and there was a storm literally over the airport.
Yeah.
So we were flying, and I'd already had to get up at, I don't know, 5 a.m. in like my time, travel to the airport, wait, get my flight, fly out. And I think it was meant to be 6 hours, maybe 6 or 7 hours, something like that. And they've got, you've got the little computer screen giving you your flight details, and suddenly the times are changing, and it's getting like longer and longer. And then it suddenly got shorter, and I was like, oh, great. And then I realized the reason it's shorter is because it's now saying a different airport.
Oh, no.
And then it changed the airport about 3 or 4 times.
Oh, wow.
And then we did end up touching down somewhere else, maybe Jacksonville, I think.
Were you supposed to be landing in Miami or Fort Lauderdale?
In Orlando.
Orlando. That's a pretty significant detour.
Yeah. And then we were just like not let off the plane, just stuck on the runway in the plane for a little while until they could take off again.
Wow. Yeah.
I think I arrived like midnight your time, or at least Florida time. So then I couldn't get from the airport to my Airbnb because like they kept canceling all the Ubers and everything because nobody could get. And I think I got there at maybe like 2 a.m. Florida time, which was I don't know, maybe 7 a.m. my time from when so it was a long
26-hour day.
Yeah, and then I stayed for like 2 days, and then I flew home. That was,
hopefully the way home was a little better than that.
Yeah, the way home was fine. I was just a little bit tired.
Excellent. But, that was Florida, just going like this.
Yeah. It's Shay. It took Jason 47 hours to get here. Yeah, pretty
much. Oh my God. Yeah.
And then I got up the next morning. I went, immediately I was at the venue to kind of check it out and see everyone. So, Haley's also turned up. So more of your team are here. Lauren's here. So Lauren is on the, have you re-signed with the Bandits, Lauren? Let us know. That would be interesting. I'm trying to kind of keep track of where everyone is. So I wanted to ask about last season. Did you follow it at all?
Oh yeah.
I know your time is precious. I know your time is precious. So I don't know if you have time to sit down and watch matches.
Well, it would be like we'd be at the gym doing our morning workout because with the time differences from where I'm at to where they're at, they're 3 hours ahead. So a lot of times they would be starting a match while we're going to a Saturday morning class or something. Yeah. So we'd have it on our phones and I'd be like, looking, checking. Stop fucking up, guys. No, okay.
That's what that's the thing I do like about Grid. So like if there's a CrossFit competition I want to follow, you've kind of got to commit to a day or two to follow it, right? Because it's just drawn out over the.
Or 3 usually for a large scale competition. You're looking usually at 3 days.
Yeah. Whereas with Grid, I can sort of set timers for when the different matches are starting, and I can just have it on, and I can be doing other stuff. And occasionally, what I've had to do because of time zones and because of just other stuff going on in my life is Rhoda's left. Whoa, she disappeared. We've got a dog. Yes, another guest.
I have 3, but this is one of them. He just wanted attention. So, and I figure it's never a bad thing to have the cute little corgi on the podcast. So I'm trying.
I was going to say he's just helping the algorithm. That's perfect.
Exactly. I figure this will make everybody happy. Say hi to Vita. Say hi.
Oh, Vita's there. Yeah, Hammy.
Yep. He's a little ham bone.
Vita knows. Oh, and Dylan as well. The dog gets a lot of love. That's nice.
There you go. Yeah. I got to get Mr. OG up here, but he's sleeping on the couch. My old man.
Yeah. so I found you can catch up on Grid quite easily if I'll have like one match on my computer that's already played, and then like I have the other one on my phone or tablet or something. And when the race finishes and they're explaining the next race, I'll quickly watch the other race that sort of had already happened, and then skip ahead so I'm kind of catching up live. And then once I'm back to like, oh, it's live now, then I kind of go, okay, now I can enjoy the rest of my day and follow it. But the final races are usually about 1 a.m. for me, so they're the tough ones.
Yeah.
But I'm nothing if not committed to the cause.
I can tell. I figured that out around about the flight story.
Yeah, and I'd never been to America before, so it was an interesting experience. And I tell you what, if you don't have time to do anything in while you're in Florida, boy, does the airport let you know all the things you've missed. Because you go through the airport and there is just the shop of every single kind of big attraction that Orlando has. And I was like, yeah, didn't see any of that.
That's a little rough. Next time you got to take a little extra time so you at least feel like you had some time to do something. Not to say that coming here for work and doing the media coverage and everything isn't fun in its own way, but if you're going to make the trip over, give yourself 24 hours to at least do something.
Yeah, it was. And also the worst thing was that and I don't know if it's just because I was so hungry, but the first day I found some like little kind of just some small local place to eat. And that was the best food of the trip. And then every subsequent meal was worse.
I mean, small mom and pop shops are usually the way to go. So I can't say I'm surprised, but it is unfortunate that you had bad food experiences because there's a lot of good food in Florida. That is one thing that my husband and I still sometimes like miss being over here. We're in a much smaller town, a lot less diversity on the food scene. And there's restaurants from Florida that were like, man, I really missed that pho. It was so good.
Yeah. Well, so you've got to work really hard to make sure you get your team to the championships again.
Well, they've got to work really hard to get to get there because that first half of the season, I can't commit to the full season. There's just no way because we're quite a ways away. So we're up in Oregon, so we are diagonally on the far opposite corner of the country.
So what brought you back? What brought you back to the grid?
I enjoy it. I like playing grid, and the Breakers is a good team to play for because you have Matt, who is a phenomenal leader, because he knows how to motivate people in positive ways. A lot of coaches in grid that I've seen, it really creates a negative team dynamic. And then you have a lot of teammates that are kind of like at each other's throats and they're fighting over assignments and everyone's doing it for an ego trip. Like they're like, me, I want to do this. So I'm going to tell them that like I'm better than them, better at it than this person. And there's a lot of cattiness and fighting and drama, even just within the teams, excluding things between teams. And Matt just does not allow that in the team. So Breakers is the only team that I would come back and even consider playing for. Even in the earlier seasons where we were by far, we were always the underdog because on paper it would be like, oh, they lost all their matches this season. But then what you don't know is that every single match, it came down to sprint relay and it came down to a 3-second difference every single time, almost without fail. And the difference was we had a team that communicated well, that showed up and did the work. They practiced the things that they were told to practice, and we got along for the most. And there's always exceptions. There's always, here and there, a bad apple, but even the bad apples on the seasons that I played were miles better than what I've dealt with in other teams in terms of just like the drama and the inconsistency and not being able to rely on your teammates. Because in a grid match, you have a total of 20 people potentially signed on a team. So no matter how good of a grid player you are, the win or lose is not going to come down to you. Maybe the final point comes down to you, but like there's so much that leads up to that, right? Like you could blame a loss or a win on one particular person in one particular instance, but ultimately it's accumulation of all of the work that the team does or in some cases did not do, right? So I could not stand being on teams where I could not count on the people that I was playing with to do the work that they were supposed to do. Because then you show up, you're prepared, you know your assignments, you know you can do exactly what you say you can do. And then everyone else shits the bed and you're like, why the did I even bother? What is this? You know? So I didn't experience that with breakers almost ever. There's, again, isolated instances where, of course, people are going to occasionally fail something that they previously could do. And I'm not talking about that. That's human nature. That's athletics. It happens. But I can count on them as a team, and I trust the people, and I get along with them, and I care about them. Vita is my best friend, even though we're far apart, and I only talk to her like once a week now. But so it's a conglomeration of reasons. But ultimately, if you want to boil it down to one thing, the reason why I'm coming back to play is the team.
Yeah, I mean, what breaks my heart, Ro, is that you're like, I find it hard to take away an hour to do a podcast or stuff like that. So I know it's going to be hard to get you on the podcast again. But you are a wonderful guest because
thank you.
It's really lovely to just sort of hear you let loose.
Well, I have a nonstop internal dialogue, so I've learned with stuff like this, the trick is to just let the internal dialogue become the external dialogue. And most people who have been around Grid long enough to have had some interactions with me, they know what to expect. They know that there's not really a filter, and it's not, I don't say things for the purpose of like being confrontational or anything. I don't play two-faced. So if I'm going to say something behind your back, I'm damn sure going to say it to your face as well. Because to me, that's honesty, and that's being a better person than pretending to be nice to someone to their face and then going and talking shit. So it's like, if I have beef with you, you're going to know. There's going to be no question at all. So,
but it is, I mean, it's one of those funny things, isn't it? You put athletes to get, like, athletes already have a certain mentality because they have to have a certain sort of personality and drive to do what they do to get to the positions that they're in, right? Like,
for the most part, yes. Yeah, there's an archetype.
She ain't lying. Yeah, and so when you put all of these people together, it's not uncommon that there is going to be friction. And then if there's somebody that, and if everyone is kind of aware of that and they're like, well, we need to do our part to minimize that and try our best, and great. But it only takes one or two to just say, I don't care. Like, I'm going to do what I want to do. And it just starts rubbing people up the wrong way. And then when they're annoyed with that person, it spills out onto other people. So like, it's kind of one of the things that I love, again, within Grit, because I don't follow other sort of big team sports. It's the functional fitness stuff, so it's CrossFit, and then it's Grid is like the biggest sort of team thing. And I always find it fascinating, the role of the coach, because like the role of your coach at a CrossFit event is minimal, because actually everything they've done is before the event. Now you're at the event, it's like, hold my bag, bring me some food when I'm hungry between events.
Or, any game time decisions or changes in plans still happen before the event. It's so rare that your coach can actually help you during an event, whereas that is wildly different on the Grid. We can make split second changes, or like, that's not working, get out, switch. Hey, I know you just came off the Grid and you're exhausted, get your ass back on there, you got to go. So it's a significantly more hands-on role for sure.
Yeah, but managing people and personalities is like another big part of it that probably people don't, maybe they don't think about that. Like, that's not something that they put into consideration as like top of their list of when, what's going to make a good coach, who's going to be successful. But speak of the man, he's just turned up. He's here. Matt Hornaday. Let's go and welcome back, Matt. She's been singing your praises up until now, but now that she knows you're here, that's all stopping. And then Shay says, this is Ro being mild. Okay.
Well, now what I will say about that,
no one terrifies me except for Ro.
So what I will say about that is I am mellowing out in my old age. So It is me being mild in comparison to previous seasons, but this is actually these days, this is me a little worked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if only I could go back in time and interview you like 2 years ago, that would be great.
Yeah, you would get an earful. The problem then, Jason, would be that you would not be able to get me to stop talking, like just laying out all the tea. I'd be telling everybody exactly how I felt. So this is, believe it or not, preferable. The other one's great for entertainment, but
yeah,
I don't know if it long term probably not the best.
No. But it would be nice just every now and again. You're like, oh, it's just I'm a bit tired. I can't be bothered to really put something together. Let me just get Ro on. She'll just go.
If you catch me post match, you might get something a little bit more in the realm of previous seasons Ro. So
all right. I need to get to this double header. So Breakers team, start thinking, start planning. We've got to get something together like last season. I've got to get out now. We know this is going to happen. I'll be there, camera, mic in hand, just following you around, basically. Somebody's going to say,
boy.
I'll start telling the other team. I think Rose said this, or I think she did that. Just try and get them to kind of.
Oh gosh, you're going to instigate a situation just to get me to fly off the handle. All right.
I don't think I need to try too hard. I don't think I need to try.
All you need is some judging bullshit or the other team pulling shit that they shouldn't. That will get me fired up without a doubt.
Yeah. What did you think about the like the number of challenge flags and things that were being thrown around last season? Did you
God, I forget which match it was. There was one match that was absolutely goddamn ridiculous. Do you remember which one it was? I think it was during like the playoffs or something.
I remember
almost every damn race. They were like challenge flag, and I can't remember. Maybe it was right before that because maybe they hadn't instituted.
Yeah, I think it was the previous match because Brigade versus Venom in Dallas.
I knew it was the Brigade. Yeah. I knew that. And I couldn't remember who it was that they were playing. But yeah, I can't stand that shit because there needs to be fair and consistent judging. That's a separate issue. Let's put that over here. But sometimes you need to suck it up and take the L and quit being a little bitch. So I don't stand for that. There needs to be better sportsmanship in Grid because as I kind of mentioned before, people's egos really have a tendency to get out of control in Grid, especially for a team goddamn sport. You're on a massive team. It is not all about you. And people really they're getting their freaking 15 minutes of fame off of it. And people throw freaking hissy fits. I swear to God. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay. I feel bad now because I feel like I'm bringing out the old Ro, and I feel like you've been working so hard to be the new mellow Ro, and I don't want to be responsible for this.
No, you're fine.
I'm enjoying it. It's wonderful.
No, you're not. It's all still there, but the beauty of the life that Derek and I have engineered for ourselves here in Oregon now is that I don't actually even have to try that hard to be at peace and not be constantly angry, pissed off, blah, blah, blah. We're very lucky. The atmosphere that we have immersed ourselves in is just extremely conducive to a peaceful lifestyle and a peaceful mindset. So it's nothing like that. You're not sending me back to anger management. It's all good.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. If he sends me a message at the end of this and saying, "What did you do to my wife?" I'll be like, "Look, I'm so sorry. It wasn't me."
No, not at all. Not at all.
So you stepped away for, it was just a season, right? You were there 2 seasons.
I've been in and out a couple of times. So I was talking about this with Derek right beforehand because I'm trying to remember, and my memory is shit. Just to give you an example, I moved from Oregon to Florida, and then we recently moved back. And I thought that I had lived in Florida for 5 years. And then we were having dinner with some old friends. And I was like, oh yeah, like I left for Florida. I moved like the same time, like right literally within a week of you guys were getting married or something like that. So I was like, okay, so you guys must have just had your 5-year anniversary. And they were like, no, we just had our 6-year anniversary. And I was like, huh? There's no way. I was like, no, I was only in Florida 5 years. And so I'm sitting at dinner with these people and they're like, no, it's been 6 years. So I completely lost a year. Anyways, my memory's pretty shit sometimes. But to the best of my recollection, I played 2019 for Sharks. I signed 2020 with Breakers, but I don't think I got to play because I had an injury. And then I played 2021 with the Breakers, 2022 with the Venom, didn't play 2023, and then came back and did a wild card for Breakers in 2024, and then didn't play 2025. So,
yeah. So, what did you do in 2025?
Well, we knew that we were going to be moving out of Florida. And originally there was a little bit of a question of where we were going to be moving to. We were originally hoping to move to Savannah, Georgia. But then there were some questions with my husband's job of like where he was able to move while keeping his previous job, or was it better for him professionally to transition to something that allowed us a choice of where to live? Because the previous role, they wanted to have him only work or only live in certain cities, even though he was working from home. They wanted him in core locations. So we were really in limbo for quite a bit of that year. And then on top of that, I was dealing with a lot of just burnout in general from training and competing. And then one of the like final straws, kick in the face while you're down, was oh God, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about 2024. I'm thinking about the year right before we moved. I'm not thinking about last year. Sorry, you're getting the 2024 story right now. We'll get to 2025.
Okay. Yeah. Let's
2024 was the last time that I competed in like the Open and then semifinals, and I had worked my ass off despite the fact that I was extremely burnt out. I was physically and emotionally like at the end of my rope, and it was like, okay, we're almost there. We've got to get to semifinals, make a big push and see what happens. Right. And I originally, the leaderboard before the culling that we will call the quarterfinals of 2024, I originally came in ranked 12th in the American United States Northeast. And then the video reviews came through and I got disqualified, not for the stupid step up thing that everyone else.
I was just going to ask, was that the box? Was that
the
box step?
No. I got a much different special DQ where they waited until I submitted all of my videos at the same time on the Monday that they were like, everything was due. And then, oh God, I'm forgetting. I submitted everything on a Monday. All of my videos were in, and in every other year, you don't have to submit your videos right away. You can wait until they ask for them, and then you have 24 hours to respond. But because of the fiasco that was the step up thing, they changed it so that they were like, they changed the deadline to everyone submit all your videos by Sunday at 1 p.m. And then they took away the 24-hour grace time.
Right.
All of my videos were submitted on Monday. I triple checked. I get an email 7 minutes after the final deadline close telling me that my links were leading to the wrong videos and I was disqualified. And had it been like every other year where they gave you that 24-hour window to fix, I could have fixed it. I still don't know how it happened because I had double checked. I was so paranoid. I clicked through on all of my links before I submitted them to make sure they were accurate.
Yeah.
And then it got messed up. I am a forgetful person. I can be a ditz, and I would tell you right away if I had fucked up and I knew it. I still to this day don't know how it happened. But because they buried themselves with the fallout from the step up, workout,
Yeah.
I got punished for that. I didn't get my 24 hours. I would have responded within 10 minutes, like, I'm so sorry, here, let me fix this right now.
Mhm.
I was waiting by my phone, waiting for your videos have been accepted, congratulations email, and instead 7 minutes after the deadline, they hit me with that and no take back leave. So anyways, that was 2024. And after all the buildup and all the work and the grinding that I had done, I was just empty. I had nothing left. I had no desire to compete. I barely wanted to set foot in the gym anymore. Like the massive letdown of everything, all the work and all of the toil that I had put in. And now there wasn't even like a completion to it. There was no opportunity to, go out there. And if I fail, I fail, but at least I fail on my own steam. It was so anticlimactic and I got robbed. And so after that, I had no desire to do anything last year. Nothing.
Yeah.
And even now, I'm effectively retired at this point in time. I don't really anticipate competing in CrossFit again. If I do, if I change my mind and I desire to do so at a later date, cool, awesome. The door's open for me. I can do whatever I want to do. But that was kind of mentally, that was my last shot. And then now this year, it's like I can still play grid without having to feel like I am selling my soul to be a competitor. Like it's something that I can stay in good shape and I can stay strong and I can stay fit enough to come in and be a big help to the team without it being the 4 to 5 hours of training, 5 to 6 days a week, and live, breathe, sleep CrossFit all day, every day, and feel like you have absolutely nothing else going on in your life. And that's your entire identity. And I'm just not willing to do that anymore. So
I think it's tough because, when it, as you say, it becomes someone's identity, which is fine. But then when that's sort of stripped of you and you're like, well, it's not, it's not it's because of a clerical error, not because of any execution of fitness. That's very frustrating. And then you are like, well, what's, and it isn't just, oh, okay, you didn't make it to this competition. It's like, look, there's, weeks and months and hours and years of work going into this to get me
and I have nothing to show. My leader's wiped. My name's wiped from the leaderboard. I can't even, so now if I talk about it, I sound like the has-been that's like, oh, we would have won state championships if I hadn't blown out my ACL, I would have gone D1 in college. So now I sound like that person. So, but the truth of the matter is, regardless of how that ended, that was a season of my life that was coming to a close. And it would have been better to go out on a high, and it would have been better to go out feeling like I had done everything. I'd given everything that I had in me and been able to see what the result of that was, regardless of what it was, regardless of where I ranked at semifinals. It would have been a very outside shot for me to make games because I usually the in-person competitions, there would be more workouts that weren't super helpful for my ranking. Usually, running, swimming, the like, that's just never been my strength. So usually I would suffer more and I would rank lower in an in-person competition due to those types of events than I would in online where they realistically can't have you running, right? So it was like, was it really looking for a games invite? In the back of it, like, yes, you're always going to say that that's the goal because you have to verbalize it to make yourself acknowledge that it is something that you're reaching for. It would have been a long shot no matter what. But to not even get the answer of yes, I earned it, or no, I went out there and I laid it all out there and I didn't earn it, but that's okay, So that was a tough pill to swallow. But again, that season of my life, probably regardless of what happened with that season, I would have for sure been taking time off, maybe a year, maybe longer. Maybe I would have been done. I don't know. So it's an unsatisfactory end, but it was still nearing that point regardless.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, going back to grid and winning a championship, that could be the could be the redemption story that we all want to see.
I mean, I wouldn't consider it a redemption story. I don't have anything to prove on that front. I actually have a tattoo on my leg that says no redemption, because
Oh, really?
I don't believe in that. I don't
Yeah.
believe in living your life to make up for something. I believe in
Yeah.
just doing doing every single day in a way that makes sense for you right now. And I will not live in the past. I'm not like, I can tell you about that experience, and I can tell you how disappointing and how hard it was, but that's not something that I'm holding on to in my
No.
soul, and it's not gnawing at me. It's not like I was robbed, so I need to go and take it back. I don't care. I don't care. I was outgrowing it anyways. And that's not to say that you can't continue to compete and also still have personal growth, and be happier and more content and more at peace. That's not to say that you can't do both. There are people who can. For
Yeah.
me personally, I was so wound into it, and I was having such a hard time knowing who I was outside of being a CrossFit competitor, that it was very, very difficult for me to try to progress in my personal life. And
Mm.
as a person in my relationships, everything, it was very difficult for me to progress while I was still stuck in that mindset. So,
So now that that's, for all intensive purposes in the past, like as you said, the training to be able to be competitive at grid, and it's not because grid's easy and you don't need to be a great athlete to do it, but it's because you're part of a team, so you only need to fill, as you were saying, things like running and swimming and stuff like that. That's not your
mhm,
strength, which means
no.
if you want to be competitive in the CrossFit field, you need to spend plenty of time working on all your weaknesses.
Mhm.
Whereas grid, you get to refine your strengths, which is a nice kind of way. And you're going to work on some other areas, of course, but as you were saying, you don't need to dedicate the same level of
No,
time and
not at
training and
all.
energy.
Because
So my question,
sorry, good, finish. I'll come
well,
back
my
to that
question was
thing.
going to be, what are you doing now? You're talking about like having this kind of life balance and not having to dedicate so much time to it now. So what's what are you doing now instead? What's filling that time that used to be spent extra hours in the gym?
Well,
How have
so
you?
it was just a very different life, because I was coaching and running a gym full time, and I was training as an athlete. So I was spending anywhere from 8 to 12 hours in the gym a day between training and coaching and the like.
Yeah.
But now I'm completely shifted. I'm doing woodworking and carpentry, and it's such a wild shift, but it's really getting to explore different facets of who I am as a person, that had to like take a significant step back, because there was no time whatsoever when I was living, breathing, sleeping in the gym, right? And so now I go to the gym typically for 2 to 2.5 hours ish, depends a little bit on the day. I do things that feel good, that I feel like I need to do just by the day. I program for myself, and I do it day by day. And I've learned where the balance is, of where I can maintain not 100%, not quite 95% of the athlete that I used to be, but I can maintain 90%, with for sure 90% of the athlete that I used to be, without sacrificing my entire life for it. And to me, that is more than enough. That is more than enough. And I mean, interestingly enough, when I say 90%, that's just kind of a cumulative
Mhm.
estimate. But when it comes to like my overall strength and lifting, I mean, hell, I've PR'd several strength lifts since I stopped competing and have been training less and less. Like I barely was lifting for months and months, and I'm still able to snatch within pretty much at any given day. I could snatch within 5 pounds of my all-time best. I don't clean and jerk super heavy right now, just because of body aches and pains and stuff. But I've PR'd my bench press recently by a decent amount. So it's like my body has the ability to hold on to muscle and hold on to strength very easily. And the things that I lose, that 10% that I lose, it's the stuff that I had to fight so hard for, like the higher level aerobic capacity. But it does not take a lot of time or effort for me to maintain the skills that I need to perform at a high level for grid. It takes infinitely less time and infinitely less energy, because that's physiologically the type of work that my body wants to do. And it comes very naturally to me. So by playing to my strengths, it takes significantly less effort and time for me to stay in grid shape than it does for me to try to compete at a high level in CrossFit.
Yeah. Wow. So, and I suppose, you've been doing it for so long now, as you say, and then even though you're like, okay, I'm not going to be training the way I was training when maybe getting to the CrossFit Games was a goal, you've not, completely thrown away being fit and healthy and like,
No,
oh, I'm going to spend my time doing all of this. And so to maintain, you've already built this incredible base, and now you just need to kind of keep topping it up, keep on top of it and maintain it. And you're right, maybe you're not, you're 90% of what you were when you were, but like but I mean, with what you were, like, I think most people would be more than happy to be a 90% row. Like that's a good goal for most of us.
I'm happy to be
happy with that. I guarantee, I don't even know what your bench press is, but I know I'd be happy to have it. I know that much.
Yeah, no, it's a much happier life this way. There's room for other things and other joys. So,
well, that's good. And I hope, because I suppose this then is will this be the first time doing grid that you haven't also had all of this other stuff going on? Like, you've been able to just, I would have thought the other seasons you were like, grid was a part of your season, but so was training for other high level competition. So
it undulated a little bit, because there were years that I was competing in Olympic weightlifting and not in CrossFit. And then there was years that I was competing in CrossFit, not Olympic weightlifting. There was at least one season, I want to say in 2021, where I really wasn't. Well, no, 2021, I was competing in weightlifting. Yeah. So my vision, or my focus, has always been split in one way or another. So yeah, this is probably going to be the first year that grid is the only thing on like my competitive horizon. But that said, that doesn't change the fact that, like, oh, I'm not taking all of the 4 hours a day that I was putting into CrossFit and I'm putting it all into grid. It's going to stay the same, but it is nice that I can be prepared and come in and do what I need to do and do what's asked of me in grid, and still do that without overextending myself in training. And also, dude, I understand objectively I'm not old. Physiologically, I've been putting my body through a lot for the past decade, and I would not be able to keep training the same way anymore. I'm going to be 30 in a couple months here, and again, like, I understand for some people you're like, young, but I remember the way that I felt at 23, 24, and it sure as hell is not even close to the same. I mean, we were joking just this morning, like, it's like, my shoulder, is this my bad shoulder or my good shoulder? Oh wait, I don't have a good shoulder anymore. They both suck. My elbows, the other day, I was like, man, I don't want to do this workout. My elbows hurt, which sounds like the most made up shit in the world.
No, I'm,
God, I can't imagine. I'd call myself a pussy if I didn't know that I was being serious. Oh, your elbows hurt? Oh, all right. Did your dog also eat your homework? Sure.
I was doing cleans the other day, and it was like fine, but every time I was in the front rack, I was like, why does my elbow hurt? Like, there's no reason that my elbow should hurt, but it's
you just, wouldn't think so.
Every time I was cleaning, it was painful.
And
as someone who is, very close to knocking on the door of 40, I feel it. And the annoying thing is, I know so many.
It's about the mileage, right?
Yeah, but I know so many. I'm not even allowed to complain, because in things I do outside of this, I've spent quite a lot of time with people that are in their 60s and 70s as well. And so if I ever
you've completely cut out for the last like 30 seconds.
Oh no. And you've frozen on my end, so we've lost Ro, everyone.
There we go. All right. I can hear you again.
Okay. I can hear you, but you're frozen, but that's fine. Anyway,
okay.
This is I was getting ready to say in a moment that I know your time is precious. We started the show talking about how precious your time is. It's so precious that your phone has decided to freeze now as well, just to really make the point. So
yep. I promise. Hands up here. I didn't do anything. I didn't have like a panic switch I was hitting.
Yeah. You say hands up, but we can't see that because you're frozen. So we're going to take you. Oh no, you're not frozen anymore. You're back. Anyway, Ro, thank you so much for making time. As you know, I always say that to my guests. Thank you for making time, but I know for you, actually, you really made time. So I appreciate that. All the best with the carpentry, the woodwork. That sounds exciting. Training just to have fun and not be as stressed, which is nice. Yep. And yeah, getting back with the breakers, getting to throw down with your best friend on the grid. Wow, it's gonna be exciting.
That's really the only reason I signed, is so I have an excuse to go to Florida and see Vita.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm really hoping that something is going to work out and I'm going to get to be there and see that in person. So that'll be fantastic. And yeah, I also can't wait to see any fallout from comments you've made about other teams and other people, which would be nice.
I did not say any names.
You didn't say any names. That is true, but well done. Well,
I almost did. I just almost let it rip, but we'll hold back.
Okay, that's right. We'll send me the list later, and then I'll go. Oh, interesting. Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to the many breakers that made it into the chat, showing wonderful support for your teammate.
Sorry I can't see any of the comments.
They're all lovely. Vida just put up a lot of hearts at the very end, just to she's still here listening, which is great. And thank you to Matt and and the Breakers HQ for letting me get in first and get the first interview with Ro. And I know she's so busy, she's not got time to talk to anyone else. So that's
it's an exclusive. That's it. That's all.
Don't even try other podcasts
right now.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. And I'll be back probably with some more grid chat sooner than you think.